I never imagined I'd have to confront someone on my own property, but life throws curveballs when you least expect them. My name is Marcus Thompson, and after 23 years in law enforcement, I became the chief of police in Fairview, a quiet suburb outside Denver. 6 months ago, I moved to 437 Maple Drive, craving a peaceful retreat after grueling days upholding the law. The colonial-style house, with its sprawling backyard and 3-car garage, was my reward for years of service. Most neighbors were warm, waving as they walked their dogs or grabbed their newspapers. All except one, my next-door neighbor at 435 Maple Drive, Mrs. Evelyn Carter. Evelyn, a woman in her early 60s with a flawless silver bob and a wardrobe of pastel tracksuits, radiated hostility from day one. She avoided eye contact, scurried inside when I appeared, and once clutched her groceries tighter when I offered to help, snapping, "I don't need assistance." I brushed it off. My job taught me to stay calm and not take things personally. Fairview's police department demanded my focus, needing upgrades from outdated systems to community policing programs. Between work and settling in, I had little time to dwell on one prickly neighbor. That changed 3 months later at a neighborhood block party. Dressed in khakis and a polo, I aimed to blend in as Marcus, not Chief Thompson. Kids bounced in a castle, adults savored barbecue, and I chatted with the Wilsons from across the street. Then I overheard Evelyn's sharp voice nearby, loud enough to sting. "I don't know why they let him move here. Property values are plummeting. He's some mall cop, strutting around in a fake uniform." The couple she was addressing squirmed, spotting me nearby. Evelyn locked eyes with me, her face defiant, not embarrassed. I approached, steady as ever. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Carter. I'm Marcus Thompson, your neighbor. I overheard you. I'm actually Fairview's chief of police." Her eyes narrowed. "You expect me to believe that? I've lived here 30 years, I know who belongs." The unspoken accusation, racial bias, hung heavy. I'd faced prejudice before, but in my own home, it cut deeper. Handing her my business card, I said, "Enjoy the party. Call if you need the police." She stared at it, skeptical, unaware this was just the beginning of a war that would test my limits. 2 weeks later, after a brutal day tackling car break-ins, I pulled into Maple Drive at 8 p.m., still in my chief's uniform, badge, weapon, and jacket emblazoned with "Chief." A neon green SUV, Evelyn's, blocked my garage. I waited, assuming she'd move it, but no one appeared. Sighing, I parked behind it and reached for my phone to call the non-emergency line, avoiding using my authority. Before I could dial, Evelyn stormed out, finger-wagging, in a matching green tracksuit. "What do you think you're doing?" she bellowed, loud enough for the neighborhood to hear. "Evening, Mrs. Carter. Your car's blocking my garage. I need to park." She crossed her arms. "This is a decent neighborhood. We don't tolerate people in fake uniforms intimidating us." Stunned, I replied. "This isn't a costume. I'm the chief of police." She scoffed. "I've called the real police about a suspicious person. Drop the act." The irony was rich. One of my officers was en route to investigate their boss. When I reached for my ID, she shrieked, "Don't pull a weapon!" "Help!" Porch lights flicked on. "Hands raised," I said. "I'm just showing my ID. Please move your car." "This isn't your driveway," she snapped, claiming it was neighborhood property. A lie. Exhausted, I said, "I've had a long day. Move your car, or we'll wait for the police." She smirked, thinking she'd won. 10 minutes later, Officer Daniels arrived, confused to see me. "Chief Thompson, everything okay?" Evelyn rushed him. "This man's impersonating an officer and breaking into my neighbor's garage." Daniels blinked, then said, "Ma'am, this is Chief Thompson. My boss." Her jaw dropped. Daniels checked my ID for protocol, then told her, "Your vehicle's blocking his driveway, a violation. Move it now." Red-faced, Evelyn screeched her SUV into her driveway and slammed her door. Daniels apologized, offering to file a report. I declined, hoping this would end her games. I was wrong. 3 days later, while trimming the hedge between our yards, Evelyn marched over. "That hedge is mine," she declared. My survey showed it sat on the property line, but she insisted her late husband planted it 2 feet inside her lot. "Show me your survey," I said calmly. She huffed. "I don't need to prove anything." Then she criticized my trimming, claiming I was killing her thriving hedge. "Mrs. Carter, let's find a way to get along," I offered. Her response? "I don't compromise with people who don't belong." The racism was blatant now. I replied, "I have every right to live here," and resumed work. She stormed off, vowing to complain to the neighborhood association. Sure enough, a letter arrived citing aggressive hedge trimming and property line issues. I sent my survey and photos of the healthy hedge. The complaint was dismissed. But Evelyn escalated, filing absurd grievances. My black mailbox, like others on the block, my noisy garage door, my visible trash bins, they weren't a hummingbird feeder, attracting vermin, and my suspicious visitors, officers discussing work. I documented everything: logs, photos, security cameras positioned legally. Neighbors revealed Evelyn spread rumors I was a fraud, not a real cop, endangering my reputation and safety. The city attorney advised that her actions, while toxic, weren't yet criminal harassment but urged continued documentation. At the next association meeting, I shared the pattern of baseless complaints, emphasizing my desire to be a good neighbor. The president, Dr. Samuel Hayes, a black retiree, hinted Evelyn targeted minorities before, like a Pakistani family and a Latino couple. Neighbors rallied around me, offering dinners and support, isolating Evelyn's bigotry. Then came the breaking point. On the morning of my 6-month anniversary as chief, set for a ceremony celebrating Fairview's crime drop, I found my garage sabotaged. The lock was jammed, the manual override broken, and a heavy padlock chained the doors shut, my car trapped inside. My garage camera? Spray painted black. This was no prank, it was targeted. As I assessed the damage, Evelyn sauntered over, coffee mug in hand, smirking. "Trouble with your garage? Mrs. Carter, know anything about this?" I asked, voice steady despite my fury. She claimed the association's security subcommittee approved it due to suspicious activity. A lie, no such vote occurred. I called her bluff, mentioning my recent talk with Dr. Hayes. Her confidence wavered, but she doubled down. "It's not illegal if the association approved it," I countered. "Tampering with property is criminal mischief. Blocking access could be false imprisonment." Her smugness faded. "You can't scare me with fake police talk," she spat. I started recording. "This is your last chance to remove the lock before I call a patrol and a locksmith." Defiant, she suddenly admitted. "Fine, I have the key, but only because I have an appointment." She unlocked the padlock, grabbed it, and fled, unaware my phone captured her confession. Photos, recordings, and neighbor footage from the Parker's camera showed her at 3:17 a.m. with tools and the lock. I filed a report, and Detective Lisa Nguyen confirmed we could charge Evelyn with criminal mischief, trespassing, and more. Instead of immediate arrest, I offered mediation to avoid community backlash. I visited Evelyn, presenting the evidence, photos, video, her recorded admission. "Detective Nguyen will question you tomorrow unless we resolve this," I said. Her face paled. I proposed, pay $743.50 for damages, resign from association committees, attend a 6-week diversity workshop, and stop harassing me. Furious, she called the workshop brainwashing, but agreed, fearing public exposure and fines. She wrote a check, grumbling, and I left, balancing justice with diplomacy. Evelyn attended the workshops, prodded by her son Nathan, who visited with his family, horrified by her actions. Nathan, a Boston CFO, apologized, saying, "Mom's from another era, But we don't condone this. His wife, a civil rights lawyer, and their kids, raised to embrace diversity, reinforced the message. Slowly, Evelyn changed. She stopped glaring, nodded stiffly when we passed, and left geraniums on my porch with a note. A neighborly gesture. E. Carter. Weeks later, she handed me an envelope of photos and notes from her months-long surveillance, admitting, "I won't need these anymore." Her son's threat to sell her house and her workshop lessons chipped away at her armor. "My hydrangeas are acceptable," she said once, praising my garden, a huge concession. I replied, "Your roses are impressive," sparking an awkward but civil chat about gardening. The turning point was her granddaughter, Mia, 12, who stayed for the summer. Mia, free of Evelyn's biases, adored my job, begging to interview me for a school project. Evelyn hesitated but allowed Mia to tour my patrol car and visit the station. Watching Mia's excitement, Evelyn softened, thanking me for not mentioning our feud. "Mia thinks highly of you," she said. "I want her to have every chance in life." It was her closest admission that her old views were fading. At the final association meeting, Evelyn presented her workshop certificate and muttered, "I misjudged some things. My actions that Saturday were wrong." Neighbors gaped as she offered me cake, lemon pound, delicious. We never became friends, but we found peace. She still filed complaints, now about everyone's trash or decorations, not just me. I greeted her daily, asked gardening tips, and smiled when Mia waved. One hot day, Evelyn brought lemonade, suggesting we plant roses together. It wasn't friendship, but it was progress. Justice isn't always handcuffs. Sometimes it's a neighbor's lemonade, a grudging apology, or a kid's curiosity breaking old walls. In a divided world, small steps matter. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Was Marcus too lenient with Evelyn, or was his approach the right way to handle her prejudice? Have you faced a neighbor like this? Let's debate how to deal with toxic relationships. Hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama.